Well, ladies and gentlemen, here we have it. This is officially my entire collection of all of my dream equipment that I've been wanting forever, and I finally have my hands on every single piece of gear that I thought I would ever need to create content. Well, first off, if you're new around here, welcome. My name is Nicolas Chae. I'm a photographer, but I'm also a filmmaker and content creator, and ever since I was in middle school, I developed a love for photography that eventually grew into my love for filmmaking, editing, directing, and producing. Now, what you see right in front of me is my 2021 dream collection of camera gear that I have accumulated over the past few years. Today, I'm going to break down each of these setups and show you guys what I like to use this specific combo for, as each of these cameras excel in various fields. Now, a quick disclaimer, as I mentioned, a lot of this gear has been accumulated over several years, so don't think that I just went out and dropped loads of cash to get all this equipment. As I mentioned, it's not only a hobby, but it is also a profession, as this is a way that I can make money on the side. But without further ado, let's just jump right into it, and we're going to start off with my very favorite photo camera. This bad boy right here does not get enough use as of late, but this is the Canon 6D Mark II paired with the Sigma 35 ART-mm 1.4 lens. Now, when I first started to get into photography, taking portraits of my friends was one of the easiest ways for me to not only build my portfolio, but to also help expand my skill set. And this combo right here took me to levels I never knew was possible. Now, the reason I've stuck with this camera for so long is that I guarantee you won't find any other better photo combo for portraitures out there on the market. The Sigma 35mm 1.4 lens is honestly one of the best lenses they make, as it gives you such a good shallow depth of field, and 35mm is great for portraitures. The Canon 6D Mark II is probably one of the best full frame cameras out there, since Canon has really started to focus more on their mirrorless lines. In addition to that, it has a flip LCD screen, which is going to be super great if you want to get low or high angles. And like I said, this combo doesn't get enough use out of it, but in the future, I'm definitely going to try and take more portraits with this combo right here. Alright, now moving on to my award for the best video camera on the market as of right now in 2021 is going to be the Sony a7S III. Now, this is a camera I picked up very recently. I picked it up as a Christmas gift to myself, but I can definitely say that the video quality you're getting out of this camera is on par with a lot of cinema cameras out there. Not only does it shoot in 4K up to 60 frames per second and 120 frames per second, but you also have a very dynamic color range, meaning you're able to grade your footage a lot easier with footage shot in both 8-bit and 10-bit. In addition to that, paired with the 16 and 35mm G Master lens, this makes it a deadly vlogging combo, as you also have a flip out screen. Over the past few weeks, I've only shot a couple of vlogs with the Sony a7S III, but I can definitely say that the quality I've gotten out of this camera is some of the best footage I've shot. In addition to that, the ergonomics and the build of this camera are much more improved over the Sony a7 III, and there are several other features why this is such a beast of a video camera. However, in order to compensate for its great low light performance, the megapixels on this camera are only 12, meaning you're not going to get the highest resolutions when you're taking photos, but since this is a video first camera, that's totally okay. I will say this is definitely going to be the most expensive camera out of my entire lineup, and it's probably one of the more expensive cameras on the market as of right now, but if you're looking to make that leap into the tier of almost cinema cameras, then yes, you should definitely pick up the Sony a7S III. Now, the runner-up for the best photo and video camera is actually going to go to the Sony a7 III. This is the camera I'm currently filming on, but this is just the best overall photo and video camera because it not only takes very high megapixel photos, but you get very similar 4K quality out of the a7 III as you would with the a7S III. In addition to that, since this camera has been out on the market for a couple of years now, you're going to be able to find really great deals on it, and I'm hoping that there's going to be an a7 IV coming out pretty soon. But this camera does win the award for the best studio camera because I've got it set up in a rig right now, but it's great for YouTube videos where I don't need to be filming in 4K slow motion. Now, right over here, this is a camera that you may not have heard of, or you may have heard of but you don't see a lot of people use, and that is going to be the Fujifilm XT4. When this camera launched last year, I had very high hopes that it would replace the need to upgrade to something like the Sony a7S III. It has just about every single feature as the a7S III, including the flip out screen. It can film in 4K up to 60 frames per second, but there are a couple of downsides when it comes to the video specs that really allocated this camera as the best street photography camera. Paired with the 16mm f1.4 lens with the square hood, which is super dope, it looks like a Leica. This is the camera I would grab if I'm just going out for a quick brunch with a friend, running around the streets of New York, and I just want to capture a couple of portraits or landscape or lifestyle shots. This camera is a beast for shooting photos, but also has very good video specs as well. Out of all the cameras in this lineup, this is a very versatile camera. I don't use it as much as I should, but I'm hoping I will shoot more street photos in this coming year. Now, those are my awards for the best digital cameras. The Sonys are obviously going to be mirrorless, Canons are full frame, and the Fujifilm is actually a APS-C crop sensor. So my last two awards are going to go to the best smartphone camera, and that goes to the iPhone 12 Pro. In all honesty, it should probably go to the iPhone 12 Pro Max, but for my needs, clearly you can see I have a wide arsenal of cameras available to me. However, there are instances where filming with a smartphone is always going to be handy, and the iPhone 12 Pro honestly does the job perfectly. It shoots great footage in 4K, you've got slow motion options, and the fact that you get 3 lenses out of a single camera makes it a lot more versatile than any of the other cameras on this table. In addition to that, you just get a great smartphone and camera built into a single device. So my award for the best smartphone is definitely going to the iPhone 12 Pro. And finally, the beast, the bad boy, my prized possession, the crown jewel. Out of all of these cameras, the one that I actually enjoy shooting with the most is going to be my film camera. Now this right here is, yep, if you know, you know, but it's a Contax T2. This camera has just kind of shot up in popularity as Kendall Jenner and Frank Ocean were seen shooting with it, and that definitely influenced me to pick up this camera, but I can surely see why it's so popular. This is probably by far one of the best point and shoot film cameras you can find on the market right now. I picked this up over 2 years ago, and I actually had to get it repaired, which cost me over $500, in addition to the hefty $700 I already paid for, so the maintenance on this camera is very hard to come by. However, if you keep it in pristine condition, you're gonna get some of the best flash film photographs you can find on the market. I would only recommend investing in this if you're very into film photography. However, it is very simple to use. All you have to do is turn it on, point, and it will automatically adjust your exposure for you. So guys, that is gonna wrap up my awards for the best cameras out there right now. Obviously, these are just my personal opinions, but this has just become my dream collection of gear. However, it wouldn't be a Nick Chae video if I wasn't eyeing some other cameras out there. Probably as of right now, I could say the next camera on my list would probably be some sort of a RED camera. I think that's definitely going to be a step up from the Sony line, but the problem with RED cameras is that you don't need to just invest in the body, but you need to invest in the accessories and the hardware that really get you the most potential out of that camera. In terms of a photography camera, I think something that I've been eyeing ever since I got into photography is going to be a Leica. Pretty much every photography professional out there knows that Leica is the peak. It's the fucking best camera out there when it comes to shooting photos, because it's glass, the lenses, they're all handmade, they're all very well crafted, but obviously have very high price tags. However, that is one of my dream cameras, so in the next couple of years, you will definitely see me upgrading to one of those bad boys. But if you enjoyed seeing what was in my collection for 2021, please drop me a like down below. Comment if you guys use any of these setups or what is your go-to camera setup, because I'm always interested to see what you guys are rocking with, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you have about gear. Don't forget to subscribe, and as always, don't stress, finesse.